各位委員
Members, please return to your own seat. I'll make an announcement. Please return to your own seat. Members, please return to your own seat. The meeting will continue. Members, just now, the legal advisor and the clerk, in the past, we did it together with the relevant member. Don't speak from your seat. Can I clarify? This isn't a matter about the procedures. Please let me finish first. Just now, I, together with the ones I've referred to, watched the tape. Once again, I ask you to stop. Before I ask you to speak, please don't. I'm now dealing with the relevant issue, not about your procedural point. It isn't a procedural matter. I was saying that I'm about to deal with before I call your name, and if you continue to speak from your seat, I will regard you as having a conduct which is grossly disorderly. Point of order. Which paragraph? Which rule? Point of order. Yes, be brief. The clerk told us that you went to the room to review the matter, and we already told him that in that case we would ask for the presence of the relevant person. So unless you're saying that the clerk made a mistake, if you were trying to review your ruling, then it's a matter of point of order. In the past, the President has done the same. Whenever there is a review, then the President has invited the relevant counselors to go to the office to view the tape together. So please clarify. So unless what I got was wrong, so he's not actually, or you're saying that he's not actually referring to review. So before you announce the finding of your review, you should have allowed the relevant council member to go to a room together with you to view the tape together. So you're finished. Let me also give a reply and also deal with the matter. Point of order. Your ruling affects me. So why haven't you invited me to go inside to view the tape together with you? It is unfair to me. I don't care what you're going to say in your finding. It's my right. When I haven't been able to assert my right, enjoy my right, you shouldn't announce the result. You should allow me to exercise this right. Before I have exercised my right, you shouldn't make an announcement about your finding. Legal advisor, please confirm whether my understanding is correct. During the review, the legal advisor also reminded me of this. Point of order, Chairman. Point of order. I'm giving a reply to you. No, I'm asking the legal advisor to answer my question, not you, because it involves my rights. The answer I'm going to give is after we have listened to the advice of the legal advisor. You cannot prevail above the status of the legal advisor. No. The legal advisor gives advice, and then the chair will make a decision, will make a ruling. Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair. Lang Yu Chung. be brief about your point of order. I would like to have the legal advisor tell us, are you serving the chairman or are you serving the entire committee or the members? Whom do you serve? Just the chair himself alone or all the members? It depends on which point of order. I hope that we won't start a discussion on this point. I will talk about my final decision and then we'll come back to the business of the committee. We rewind the tape and then Mr. Leung Yiu-chung spoke up to a particular point and then it involved the relevant paper from Kenneth Leung. So certain replies were given. Leung Yiu-chung would like to continue to speak. Now, I would like to withdraw my earlier order, so I will allow him to continue to speak to supplement what he was trying to say. I hope in the future you will respect the chair. When the chair requests you not to speak from your seat, I hope you will stop immediately before we move on to the next member trying to speak. Mr. Leung Yiu-chung, I allow you to continue to supplement, to add to what you have been trying to say. Let me deal with Mr. Leung Yiu-chung's point. He hasn't finished his speech, so I allow Mr. Leung Yiu-chung to continue with his speech. Mr. Chairman, had I not protested, had I remained in my seat and refused to leave, then that means your ruling would have resulted in my being evicted. Would it be in line with the rules of procedures? Would it be reasonable? Is it fair? Moreover, time and again, I've been saying that the legal advisor should answer my question. You prevail above the legal advisor. You are also trying to give legal advice. Is it reasonable? Why have you stopped the legal advisor from speaking? As far as the procedure is concerned, when we are unsure about the procedures and the legal points, it should have been the legal advice explaining the matter to all of us rather than just to you yourself. So it's a question for the entire committee, for the whole meeting. So why have you stopped the legal advisor from speaking? I want to clarify this point first. Legal advisor, just now, for the chair to have such a procedure, he was carrying out a review. I was the person affected. I didn't take part in the review. Is it reasonable? Mr. Leung Yiu-chung, now you're finished. I'm not having a debate with you, but everybody knows that the legal advisor gives advice to the committee. The chair will make the final decision. So the chair has the right to arrange for speakers to speak. So you put a request to the chair. If I make arrangements for the legal advisor to speak, I will make the arrangement. I hope you will take note of the procedures. This is how the chairman chairs the meeting of the committee. Earlier on, you raised a point about order, so please continue. Just now, I was inviting you to ask the legal advisor to speak. Please do not dwell on this point. I've already explained. Please do not dwell on this point. All right, let me go back to the case of Kenneth Leung. Kenneth Leung said that he has come up with a new suggestion for members' discussion. But then you were saying that it is not appropriate. You stopped him from raising it. So just now, I said I was about to say that you should put the matter to the committee so that the committee will consider whether Kenneth Leung's proposal should be accepted. All right, this point is noted. Raymond Wong, Mr. Chairman. My point of order is on 37A. 3,042 amendments have been proposed. I have another 3,000 on my desk, another 3,000 in my office, so altogether 10,000. So this is under 37A. I would like to move motions. You have to handle them before they are voted on. So first of all, we have to deal with the question as to whether the motions can be handled. Many people have mixed that up. You haven't given me a reply. The clerk told me that you made a ruling. You would not accept any more motions. Well, I find it odd. I haven't heard it at this meeting. Please dig up the verbatim minutes. Even if you have said so, it is unlawful. At least you should have read each one of them, and then for those that are inappropriate, throw it out. Maybe you should leave behind 1,200. You did the same to Fernando Jones, but you haven't read my motions, you didn't care, so you need to give me a specific reply, and I want to move them today. You finished? And Lee Che-yen, what is your point of order? Mr. Chairman, I really hope that you would allow us to speak. This is because there is a very big problem here. There is a serious point of order. According to paragraph 31, the chairman is responsible for the observance of the rules of order in the committee. But what you have done today and what you did in the past, you have been most unjust. I think this is quite like a referee who is being unfair in a match, and the referee is showing the red card to evict the footballers. I don't know whether you are not in the best condition or whether you are deliberately unjust. So please deal with my point. That is, I would like to move a motion. I would like to move a vote of no confidence. This is an emergency case. It is urgent, and you have the right to deal with it. It is urgent. Given the atmosphere here, we have no confidence in you at all. Please look at what you did just now. You were very impatient. You were anxious to finish the business. You were anxious to evict members. You just wanted to evict members. You didn't want to have a discussion. So with such a mindset, I don't think you are the fit and proper person to be the chairman. Moreover, in the past, you have been acting unjustly. Just remember that last week you spent 1 minute 57 seconds for a 1 minute period so as to wait for the pro-establishment councillors to return to take part in the vote. So please deal with my vote of no confidence because you're no longer suitable to chair the meeting. All right, I'll listen to others first. Mr. Chairman, according to paragraph 31, I would like to raise a point of order. Mr. Lee read out part of it, not the entire one. The whole paragraph reads, the chairman is responsible for the observance of the rules of order in the committee. His decision on the point of order shall be final. Mr. Chairman, I have to raise this point of order. This is because at the last meeting, at the second last meeting, and previous meetings, members have been interrupting your opening remarks with points of order. Well, in fact, we don't know what you want to say in your opening remarks. So, Chairman, please exercise your rights. Please exercise your power. When somebody raises a point of order, you just ask for the specific point and ask him to be brief, rule on it as to whether it is a point of order, and then there should be no more discussion. We earnestly urge you to tell us what you want to say in your opening remarks so that we know how you're going to conduct the meeting. Tam Yu-chung, and then I'll come back to my opening remarks. Mr. Chairman, many so-called points of order weren't points of order. They were merely trying to criticize you. So as Wong Kwok-heng has suggested, please move directly into the opening remarks so that we can return to the discussion on the NENT development. Please do not speak from your seat. Please stop immediately. Now let me read out the chairman's brief, the chairman's script for today's meeting. Dr. Kiki Kwok. Which point? 31. It is clear the chairman is responsible for the observance of the rules of order in the committee for the entire meeting. Just now, without justification, you exercise your right. With members' objection, it is lucky that Mr. Leung Yu-chung wasn't evicted.
Chairman, I'd like to ask you this. Chairman, I'd like you to give us a detailed explanation. Mr. Wong Yuk-man, Mr. Chairman, can you give a detailed explanation on the basis of your decision just now? Later on in the meeting, if you have no sufficient reason as the basis, all members here will fall into this preset trap, and that is, as long as members do not follow what you intend to do in this meeting, we will be expelled. That is very dangerous. And under 37A, members are allowed to move motions without notice. Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen said what he said, and I think you should handle 37A, and that is we'd like to move a motion of no confidence in you, because as the chairman, what you did just now is totally unconvincing to members, and also we cannot accept it. I think you may be under too much pressure. I'm a doctor and I'm worried about you. If you are taken ill, we will be very worried. If you are under too much pressure, please give the seat to someone else. I'd like to respond to you that this is not a point of order, but I have already allowed you to speak at length. I hope the same point should not be repeated. This is according to the procedures of the Finance Committee. I will not deal with the same procedural point anymore. Once you start to say the same thing, I will ask you to stop speaking. Dr. Fernando Cheung, which procedure? 37A, Chairman. What has been covered under 37A and other paragraphs will be covered in my opening remark. No, I'd like to move a motion. Now, this is still under 37A. Please do not repeat. No, under 37A, I'm now moving a motion without notice. And that is in view of the fact that we have already dealt with 37A. Dr. Fernando Cheung, no, this is a notice without notice. No, under 37A, we have already dealt with it. No, I'm moving it now. No, with regard to this item under discussion, everything under 37A has been processed. That decision has been recorded at the last meeting. I will say again, we should not repeat what has already been processed. No, I am moving a motion without notice. It has been dealt with. How can you have, how come you have dealt with it when I'm only moving it now? No, I'm talking about the item under discussion. You are trying to invoke 37A about the agenda items today. If it is about the agenda items for today's meeting, then they would have been dealt with. Which item are you talking about? You are talking about PW SC bracket 131438. If that's the case, then we have already made a decision. The chairman has made a decision at the last meeting, and I'll say again, we have already dealt with everything under 37A. If you have other proposals, I will arrange for other channels for processing what you want. Here, I'd like to say again, we have already dealt with 37A. Now, I hope you will not raise more points of order to hold up the meeting. And the chairman has already prepared for the opening remarks. I hope you will hear me out, and then you will know that I'm going to reply to some of the points you made just now. I hope you will give me some time, respect me. Let me read out the opening remark, also to allow the public to understand how the meeting will be conducted. I hope you will not interrupt me. Please let us have some mutual respect. We have arranged for 3 sessions today. After the first session is finished, we will take a break of 10 minutes at 6 o'clock. and the second session will start at 6:10. After the second session, there will be meal time of half an hour, and then we will start the third session. If members would like to order meal boxes, please fill out the order form tabled before you and return them to the stewards. I also like to remind members that if you have direct or indirect pecuniary interests related to the items to be dealt with at this meeting, please disclose the nature of such interests according to Rule 83A of Rules of Procedure before the item is dealt with. Also, under ROP 84, please remind yourselves of the stipulations about voting on items with pecuniary interest. Before we discuss the items for the meeting today, I'd like to report to you the few letters I received from members in the last week. I have been asked to make decisions on those matters. Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen has asked me that before today's meeting, I should organize a special meeting to deal with the vote of no confidence in me to be moved by him. I have directed the clerk to consult members whether it was okay for members to attend a special meeting at 10:45 this morning to deal with the matter. However, most members said they could not find the time to attend the meeting, so the meeting was not held. I am now consulting members whether they could attend another special meeting on the 8th of next month in order to have a discussion on the vote of no confidence to be moved against me. I will let you know the results later. The Secretariat has also acted according to the request of Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen, and that is about the verbatim report on the 1-minute speaking time on the immediate adjournment of the meeting motion moved by Mr. K.K. Fung last week. This is in FC 113/1314. I have also received from Mr. Lam Tai Fai asking the Finance Committee to first discuss the 5 items related to education before scrutinizing the funding request for advanced work for NTNE. Before I made the decision, I have already asked the administration to respond to the request of Mr. Lam Tai Fai. The administration said that the NTNE funding request is still obviously an important matter that has to be accorded priority. I like to point out that the jurisdiction of the Finance Committee is to scrutinize funding requests put to us by the administration, and these would be submitted by designated officials from the administration. All along, different chairmen have shown respect to the administration with regard to the priorities of discussion items, and I have no intention to change their style of working. Mrs. Regina Ip and Mr. Michael Tian also wrote in asking the committee to adopt a dual-track approach and that other meeting dates should be found to deal with other funding requests not related to the NTNE funding request, and that the mode of circulation could be adopted to consider some less controversial items. Since the administration has no intention to change the agenda items and their order in the agenda, and actually members have shown concern towards passing or endorsement of papers through circulation, I have already directed the clerk to reply to the 2 members that their proposal will not be adopted. Mr. Albert Chan and Mr. Leung Kwok Hong wrote to me through a law firm yesterday, asking me not to stop accepting to propose the submission of motions under 37A of the procedures of the Finance Committee. They also told me that they would reserve the right to seek judicial review and also to seek legal liability. Before the meeting, I issued a paper which is FC 121/1314, and it is entitled that this is the ruling of the chairman on the submission of motions without notice under the Finance Committee procedures. In that paper, I told members the factors that I considered behind my decision. Later on, I will direct the Secretariat to reply to the relevant law firm. Today, we have to deal with PWSC 2013-14-38, which is also FCR 2014-15-2. If members have no other questions, I will put the funding request in to the vote. Chairman, point of order. Basically, I have finished reading out my opening remark. Please go back to your seat. Are you going to process these motions without notice? Mr. Wong Yuk-man, you will have to leave the committee room immediately. Mr. Wong Yuk-man, you have to leave immediately because you have displayed conduct which is grossly or gross misconduct. Mr. Wong Yuk-man, you have to leave the committee room immediately. Please wait. Why did you not process the motions? Mr. Wong Yuk-man, you have to leave the committee room immediately. Other members, please return to your seats. Please do not leave your seats. Members, please do not leave your seats. Next one. Mr. Wong Yuk-man, you have to leave immediately. Because you have shown conduct which is grossly disorderly. Mr. Wong Yuk-man, you have to withdraw from the committee room immediately. Other members, please return to your seats. Please sit down. Order, please. Other members, please go back to your seats. Members, please return to your seats. Members, please go back to your seats. The meeting is in progress. Members, please go back to your seats. Please don't come to the front. Please go back to your seats. Please go back to your seats first. Dr. Fernando Zhang, please go back to your seat. Please go back to your seats. I have already made the order. Dr. Helena Wong, please go back to your seat. I have already read out my opening remark.
請坐返埋座位。
Please go back to your seat.
好啱。
主席處理咗37你先啦，因為係關於
唔係，而家處理一件還一件，我已經處理一件還一件。
係關於37 A。
請你哋坐翻埋位先，請你坐翻埋位先。
應該處理37 A 啦，係。
請你坐翻埋。
Please return to your seat. Let me say this again. I want you again. Now, for members who don't return to your seats, I have no choice but to enforce the rule. Now, as the chair, I have formed a decision. Once a decision has been made, it means we have dealt with it. The conduct is grossly disorderly. There's no room for discussion. Members, please return to your seat. Members, please return to your seat. Please return to your seat. We'll continue with our meeting. Tam Yu-chung. Mr. Chairman, just now I heard that the committee has reached the stage of putting the matter to the vote. First of all, the meeting is still ongoing. When we have a meeting, I hope members will return to their seats. Before we take a vote, let him finish first and then I will give the floor to a second one. Before we take the vote, maybe members should be allowed to speak. Please go to paragraph 36. I think we are at the last stage, paragraph 46, before putting an item to the vote. Let me respond first, and then I'll move on to the next speaker. Please keep the order. I will call your names. I will call your names. Order, please. Keep quiet. I'll give a reply to Tam Yu-chung, and then I will give a reply to your question. Just now, yes. As far as the procedure is concerned, we are at the stage of having a discussion before taking a vote. Now, to quote Tam Yu-chung, he referred to paragraph 46. Before we put an item to the vote, I allow members to speak briefly or to ask questions. You'll have 1 minute each, and then I will invite the administration to give an overall reply. An overall reply to all the questions that you ask, and then we will take a vote. So this is to reply to Mr. Tam Yu-chung's question. Next, Kenneth Leung. Which point of order? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am seated. I've raised my hand for 25 minutes. It seems that you have never seen my hand. Mr. Chairman, I think you made a wrong decision. In particular, when I let him speak. Shut up. Paragraph 32. Paragraph 32 and paragraph 45. Rule 32.
Tedious repetition of his own or other members' argument in the discussion. 請問阿梁耀忠有冇 irrelevant 或者 tedious 有冇 persist 呢3個 element 喺度？你主席應該承認翻係錯誤嘅決定。
Did he do so? Was he repeating himself? So you should have withdrawn your decision. Moreover, Rule 45.1 and Rule 45.2, are they related? 45.1 is like paragraph 32 of the FCP, but then 45.2 is another limb, is something separate.
Of a committee of the whole council or the chairman of any committee shall order a member whose conduct is grossly disorderly. So what accounts for grossly disorderly? Can the legal advisor give us some, information on this? 梁耀忠議員頭先
Just now, Mr. Leung Yiu-chung was seated and he was speaking. Was it grossly disorderly? Can the legal advisor clarify this? So if the chair made a wrong ruling, can you not admit it and don't just withdraw your decision? Thank you. For things that I have already dealt with, I'm not going to take up your time. We have other forums to deal with them. Is it a point of order? Frederick Fung. I would like to invoke paragraph 39 of the FC procedures. This is a motion to adjourn. I think things are worse than before. First of all, the chair is not fit to chair the meeting. A day or two ago, Mr. Paul Chen selectively met with some groups. As to the other groups that we mentioned to you, most of them have not been invited. And then the CS4A, Mrs. Carrie Lam referred to 30 or more funding proposals are more important. And you are not going to reorder the agenda items to deal with the priority items. So I would like to move a motion to adjourn. Please make yourself clear which one. Paragraph 39. In what aspect? To adjourn the discussion. Which item? This item. To adjourn the discussion on an item. Maybe I didn't make myself clear. Now, Mr. Frederick Fung is now moving a motion to adjourn. So we have to deal with this immediately. So there will be a debate. Mr. Tam Yiu-chung. For 39, a motion to adjourn. It cannot be moved for more than once within the same item. So Frederick Fung's proposal is invalid. Let me deal with it first. The clerk. I have had a word with the clerk for the same item. Previously, there was already a motion to adjourn, and therefore, we can no longer deal with it again. Frederick Fung. In accordance with paragraph 39 FCP, I would like to adjourn. I would like to move a motion to adjourn the further proceedings of the committee. Well, adjourning the entire meeting, yes, we may move a motion. There will be a debate by committee members, and then we'll take a vote. Prior to that, I would like to listen to other members as to whether you have got other views concerning this arrangement. Well, in this case, if there aren't any special points about the arrangement, let's deal with the motion to adjourn. Any special requests concerning the time limit? According to paragraph 39, do you have other points? Priscilla Leung. Kenneth Leung. I also raised my hand for a long time. I would like to reduce the time limit to 1. One said 10 minutes, another said 1 minute. Let's take a very simple vote. First of all, 10 minutes. Well, I think there is no need to have a specific debate. There wasn't a debate last time. So again, the same decision. There is no need for a debate. Emily Lau, Chairman. Don't be so excessive. Now this is a motion. Whenever there is a motion, we can have a debate. We may have a debate. Last time you were wrong. Now for paragraph 39, it's 3 minutes. Now if somebody would like to amend it and if somebody else would like to further amend it, then there should be a debate. I think we should take the matter. We should vote first on the member who made the last proposal. I think it has brought shame on us as the FC. The chairman has the power to decide on the arrangements. Stop immediately. Now, if there is a need for a debate, I am prepared to give you 1 minute because it is going to be a simple one. The clerk has reminded me that on the same item, for similar discussion, each member was given a minute. Chair, there's no need to have a discussion. 1 minute each. Albert Chen. Listen to me. I hope you will clarify. I have to seek clarification on another point. Just now you said that you had the power to say that you didn't allow us time to speak on whether we got 1 minute or 10 minutes to debate. Please cite the verse and chapter as to why you could say that there is no need for a debate. Please cite the specific rule before you make a decision like that. Paragraph 31 says that the chairman has a decision on the point on the procedure. Please do not have a further argument with the chair. You need to clarify. I have clarified. I hope you won't debate with me. 31, paragraph 31. Which part of paragraph 31? Why is it correct? If you all speak at the same time, I will certainly not allow this to happen. Mr. Kim Yun, point of order. My question is to follow up on Albert Chen's. To follow up on what you have cited, paragraph 31. Of course, you said that the chairman's decision on a point of order shall be final, but it is preceded by the sentence, the chairman is responsible for the observance of the rules of order in the committee. So just now, Albert Chen raised a point. That is, he would like to know which rule you were observing. So you have to answer this question, and then it's for us to say whether we agree with you or not. Then we will make up our mind. But first of all, you need to give a reply. You can't simply refer to the second part of paragraph 31 and tries to cover everything. Otherwise, all the FC procedures can be put aside. Well, coming back to your point, we have to deal with a motion to adjourn, and we have to discuss the time limit for the debate. So if we want to have a debate, I think maybe we should agree on the time limit. At a meeting, we had a similar scenario, and there was a clear discussion. Since it's a simple debate, and that's why we said that each speaker would have 1 minute. I think this is sort of referring to our usual practice. So members, please do not waste any more time. If you would like to speak your mind, please do so within your 1 minute. I'm sure you can tell us what you think in 1 minute.
Now, I will make it even simpler. I don't want too much discussion. Now I will say it again. I will allow you 3 minutes to discuss a decision. And the decision is about 10 minutes or 1 minute for voting. If you want to speak, please press the request to speak button. You will have 3 minutes each. Press the button now. Mr. James To, you can only seek elucidation. Mr. James To? Chairman, sorry about this. I may not have the same view as my colleagues. Chairman, originally, you intended to arrange for processing the vote of no confidence before today's meeting. I thought it was right. But since you did not do it, you could not do it, I think you should deal with it right at the beginning of this meeting. Because if in the end, you are not regarded as a fair and just chairman, then you should not continue to chair this meeting. You are still being questioned since the beginning of this meeting, because the original design is, Chairman, that to avoid being questioned at the beginning of the meeting at 4 p.m., you said that it should have been handled before the meeting, and that is whether the meeting still confirmed that you should be able to chair the meeting. But if that meeting was not arranged, then at the beginning of this meeting at 4 p.m., you should have dealt with Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen's no confidence motion, or else you are still being questioned while you chair this meeting. Please consider my argument and talk to the legal advisor, because you are still being questioned as to whether you are fit to chair this meeting, since that motion was not processed. Well, okay, I can give you a simple response, because we have received twice a request to process the vote of no confidence, and you had asked for early processing. But then the other items have already been in the agenda. And so I'd like to tell you here that we actually discussed how we should process it. And since we are still arranging for that meeting, I am not going to make other arrangements for that motion here and now. Let us go back to the discussion. Mr. K.K. Kwok? Just a very brief one, Mr. James To. I understand what you said, but please think about this again, because Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen is questioning you, and his basis is that while you are trying to process the vote during one of the meetings to process this NTNE item, he said that you were not being fair because you gave 1 minute 57 seconds to process a vote. Now, unless this item will not be endorsed until July or August, otherwise you will still be in the chair, because that vote of no confidence is on you about how you chaired the meetings on the NTNE item. That is why that motion should precede all other items on the agenda. Because even if you are going to process this motion to adjourn, you can still be questioned as being unfair and unjust. Therefore, I would say to you again, Chairman, that you should process the vote of no confidence first. If you are found to be accepted by members to still remain in the chair, then we can carry on with the meeting. Well, I have already explained, and I hope you understand what we are trying to process now. In my opening remarks, I have already given an account on that issue. If you continue to discuss with the chairman such issues which have been decided, in fact, I don't want to start another discussion. Mr. Wu Chi-wai, another point of order. Actually, in the procedures, it is said that 39, it says in normal circumstances, the discussion for each member should not be more than 3 minutes. So I would ask you to allow members to vote on 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 10 minutes. According to the procedures, 3 minutes would be a reasonable time for members to express their views. But I hope you will agree that in the end there should be the chance for members to vote on 1 minute, 3 minutes, or 10 minutes. Okay, I can clarify in a simple way. If 1 minute and 10 minutes are not supported, then we'll fall back on 3 minutes. That is a very clear explanation, isn't it? The first member to speak on this one, you will have 3 minutes. Dr. K.K. Kwok. Chairman. Actually, our members have said very clearly that you should not remain in the chair. What the public is seeing is that you are just listening to the administration. You just want to push through this anti-NE item which is not agreed to by anyone. Please come back to the adjournment motion. Yes, I am talking about the motion to adjourn. Because if you are not in the chair, then we don't need to move this motion to adjourn. Because what you are actually doing, sorry, Dr. K.K. Kwok, you try to expel Mr. Leung Yiu-chung and also other members. Please listen to this. We are talking about the limit of members' speech. Please stop the counter first. We are talking about whether we should have 1 minute or 10 minutes or 3 minutes. So please speak to the issue. This is a joint debate. Chairman, I'm very clear. This Finance Committee meeting is chaired by you, but your way of working, your style, do not convince members that you are reasonable. That is why we are trying to move a motion to adjourn. If the meeting can go on in a reasonable manner, that we can still face the public, then we should allow the meeting to proceed. The pro-establishment camp are not here to discuss the issue. They are teaching you, coaching you how to be the chair, and they are saying that we should only have 1 minute, which is so unreasonable. We are all shamed. And the society is divisive, and it is totally divided, and the meeting is divided. As the chairman, you should have been the referee. You should make sure that members will be able to speak their minds. Whether you agree or disagree, you should allow members to fully express our views. Of course, we cannot support the 1 minute limit. If you want to limit us to 1 minute, then why don't you just press the button to say this is already endorsed? This is some kind of violence. You are aiding and abetting it. Why do you want to do it? You are putting your reputation on the line. You are also a member of this council, right? Why don't you give yourself face? If you don't respect yourself, how can we respect you? The public can all see this. The pro-establishment are all here. They don't mind dealing in this kind of dirty business. But we need to withstand such pressure so that we can have full discussion at the committee, so that the council continues to reflect the views of the public. So I will not accept a 1 minute limit. 10 minutes is not the most important point. Actually, you have not actually processed 37A. Why can't this meeting go on? Because 37A is the most important paragraph, so that we have the power to process the motions for the sake of this item. Your time is up. Next, KK Fong. Chairman, before voting, we should be able to speak on the item again. That is actually for members to summarize their views on the item. To me, this is a very important summary, because it will not just be about the funding request for the advanced works. In the entire process, we have seen injustice. We have seen how unreasonable, how unfair you are being the chair, that you are biased. Mr. Lam Tai-Fai was able to speak for so long, and what he said had nothing to do with the procedures. And you allowed him to go on, and Mr. Leung Yiu-chung just said 2 words, and then you were trying to expel him. That is why I need 10 minutes. I have a lot to say about this item. Secondly, the anti-NE is a big controversy. Don't just watch television saying that people would like to have $2 million in compensation instead of $600,000. That is just about money. But there are indigenous villages, like Mr. Lau Wang Fat. You are pulling down people's houses. They don't want money. Even if you have food, it doesn't mean you are healthy. They live there happily. If you take down their houses, they are not happy. We are talking about these people's needs. And also, Chairman, you remember you said that we should be talking about the future use of land in Hong Kong. So talking about a summary on this item, I will need much more time than 10 minutes. I'm going to display and give an account of all the controversies and arguments attending this item. And I will say that we should not push it through. And also, I also like to mention Mrs. Carrie Lam in the summary. Mrs. Carrie Lam said we must endorse this item because we are standing in the way of livelihood issues. 41 livelihood issues, 35 projects, she said. And she was talking about the LIFA and the waiver of rent for public housing, etc., etc. She's trying to put pressure on us so that we would not be able to have time for matters of principle. I can go on, Chairman. 10 minutes will not be enough. There are many livelihood issues which are badly needed. Mrs. Carrie Lam knows it. But in the end, the administration has the power and authority to decide on the order of the agenda. And Mrs. Carrie Lam has deliberately refused to swap the items around. And she's trying to put pressure on us by saying that there are so many livelihood issues which are in the queue. And she's trying to put the blame on us. So actually, it is Mrs. Carrie Lam who is the crux of the matter. The sin is on her because she is refusing to swap the agenda items around. If I am given the time to do the summary, I can go on for hours. So 1 minute, 3 minutes will not be enough. 10 minutes will not be enough. Dr. Peter Zhang. Why is it Peter Zhang? It's me. Okay, Mr. Lee Chak-yan. Chairman, I have already said that you are not in the right state of mind. Please consider again whether you want to continue to chair the meeting. Why did I move to have 10 minutes? Actually, 10 minutes will not be enough. What do we want to say in the motion to adjourn? We have to explain why we want an adjournment. At least we should have 5 minutes to talk about how unfair you have been, Chairman. And 1 minute would have to be spent on what you did with whether we should have 1 minute or 10 minutes. I heard you ask this question. You said, well, are there special arrangements? And then I saw Miss Priscilla Leung raise her hand. So is there collusion? So first of all, I think there is collusion. You actually prompted Miss Priscilla Leung to speak up. And I have to say I'm really smart. I detected it. So I said 10 minutes in response. I knew that you were exchanging looks. No, please do not speculate. I'm wearing my spectacles today. I'm watching you. Okay, point of order. Right, okay. Please do not use my time, though. Stop the counter. Oh, I will let you speak later. Point of order. Miss Priscilla Leung. Chairman, I was raising my hand like Mr. Kenneth Leung. You just did not see me, Mr. Lee Chak-yan. You had serious myopia. I actually wanted to raise a point of order. I was following Mr. Kenneth Leung. So please, you were trying to insult me. You said we were exchanging secretive looks. He has to clarify. He has to withdraw his remarks. He was irresponsible. I have been raising my hand for a long time. Okay, you have expressed yourself. Miss Ann Chang, please do not speak in your seat. You have all expressed yourselves. Mr. Lee Chak-yan, please continue. I don't want to have such exchanges. No, you have to deal with the point of order issue raised by Miss Priscilla Leung. Is it that you have really exchanged secretive looks? If that was the case, I should apologize, but I don't think it was something for me to apologize. It's all right for men and men to exchange secretive looks and women and men to exchange secretive looks. It's all right. I was just using that proverb. Well, as a female member, I think I am offended. He shows no regret. He is continued to say it again. I have been holding up my hand for so long because I had wanted to respond to Mr. Kenneth Leung because he is now smearing me. I am asking Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen to withdraw his remark because I am offended. Order, please. Order. Priscilla Leung, have you finished? I am going to give this simple response. Ms. Alice Mack, what is your point of order? According to Rule of Procedure 41.5, it says that no one member should impute motive to other members. Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen is imputing improper motives to Ms. Priscilla Leung. He is saying that you have exchanged or traded secretive looks with Ms. Priscilla Leung. Whether it constitutes improper motives, I think it is a clear violation of 41.5 of ROP. Okay, members, I hope you will respect each other and please do not use offensive and insulting language. And also, when you speak, you shall not impute improper motives to another member.
Well, I have to point out that if you breach this rule again, I'll regard it as conduct which is grossly disorderly. Have you ruled? Will we continue? Please remember that I've reminded you not to use such insulting languages or offensive language. Helena Wong, I think you really have to retire. Priscilla Leung queried what Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen was saying in relation to exchanging secretive looks. She said that it's offensive, and some female councillors said that it's offensive. It's offending all female councillors. As a woman councillor, I don't feel offended by what Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen has said. So unless you rule that I'm not a woman councillor, or let's have a debate as to whether the language used was offensive. So I think we should have a discussion rather than having you ruled on it. Well, I've already said that we should no longer use offensive and insulting language. If you don't think that you have done so, I hope that you will no longer do so. You won't resort to that again, and I hope that you members would not commit the same again. Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen, you have used 1 minute 25 seconds, so please continue with your speech. Kenneth Leung also raised his hand. Don't start it again. I've already said that we should stop. We should respect each other. Priscilla Leung raised her hand. Lee Cheuk-yen, if you don't want to speak, I will give another member the chance to speak. I think you need to deal with it. Priscilla Leung raised her hand. Be brief. He raised his hand first, so let him speak first. Kenneth Leung. Priscilla Leung, if you want to speak, be brief. Even if other lady councillors don't feel offended since they haven't been named, but Lee Cheuk-yen named me. So according to what we generally deal with, he should have the moral courage to withdraw his remarks. As a gentleman, if he has no intention to offend us, I think he should have the moral courage to withdraw it, and I will still have respect for him. But if he hasn't got the moral courage to do so, he didn't name Helena Wong, but he named me. So you're finished. Kenneth Leung. Is it point of order? Certainly. Priscilla Leung named me 3 times. So in accordance with 41.5, I don't know why Priscilla Leung was trying to impute improper motives to me to raise points of order. I was referring to 45. I just cannot understand what is meant by grossly disorderly conduct. I was merely raising a very legitimate question. I had no other motives. So, Priscilla Leung, please withdraw your remark. I think this should come to an end. I have already made a very simple request. I have also made a very simple ruling. That is, I hope that that exchange, that conversation should come to an end. We should no longer have any offensive or insulting language. Gary Fan, Mr. Gary Fan, please do not speak from your seat. I'll give the floor to Lee Cheuk-yen to finish with the rest of his speech. He's spoken for 1 minute 28 seconds. If it is on the same point, I think I have already spoken what I want to say, and I hope that you should not try to expand the discussion. Lee Cheuk-yen, I think you should really rule on that remark, and I don't think it is reasonable. So you are not the right person to be the chair. Maybe Priscilla Leung felt offended because I said that you and Leung were exchanging secretive glances, looks. Maybe she doesn't mind being accused of exchanging the looks of another person. We need 10 minutes because 10 minutes would not be adequate. For the 10 minutes, I have to use up all the 10 minutes, and I still won't have sufficient time to talk about how to chair the meeting. For paragraph 37A, all out of a sudden, so no reason at all, 2:20-something in the afternoon, you gave us your ruling saying that we could no longer deal with anything under 37A. You never have the power to say that the motion cannot be handled. You can read the motions and you rule that they are irrelevant to the agenda. You can deal with it in this way, but you can't rule such that motions cannot be submitted. In the past, we objected to epoch hymns. Come back to the point. You can see that I need 10 minutes. I've already spoken for so long. Not to mention that we still have to comment on any NT development. Mr. Chang Kwok-chu, I thought somebody else would like to speak. Mr. Chairman, I think Lee Cheuk-yen somewhat offended you. I think just now, for the past few minutes, you chaired the meeting very well. Come back to the content. Yes, if you didn't interrupt our speech, if you don't, when you don't, then things can move more quickly. If you don't interrupt us, we don't need 10 minutes. When we talk about a motion to adjourn, 1 minute won't be adequate. I've already used up 40 seconds, but then I think 10 minutes would be too much. 3 minutes won't be enough. So more than 3 minutes and yet less than 10 minutes. In that case, I can only choose 10 minutes. So in this case, I would say that I support what Mr. Lee Cheuk-yen has proposed. That is, we need 10 minutes. Why? This is because the chair has been relying on the second part of paragraph 31. That is, the chair's decision on a point of order shall be final. Well, if you want to insist on that, then we don't need to have got paragraph 54. That is, we should have got the last bit of 31 and that's it. But then this isn't the case. So you have to follow the rules. You need to follow the procedures to conduct the meeting. And then you make your final decisions. Therefore, with 37A, you haven't been following the procedures when you deal with the motions under 37A. Why are we so frustrated? Why are we so angry? Why we want to move a vote of no confidence? Because though you may make a final decision, but then you cannot breach the rules of order. Otherwise, we we don't need to have all the rules, and we only need the first half of it. I've yet to talk about the impacts of NENT. We've only been talking about Kutong, and yet so many people are getting so vocal. Not to mention 1 minute, 3 minutes won't be adequate. But then 10 minutes would be too much. If all the 70 or 69 of us are to speak, it would mean 690 minutes. Even for 20 to speak, that would mean 200 minutes. I don't think you want to see this happen, but I have to say that 3 minutes won't be adequate, so I have no choice but pick 10 minutes. Fernando Zhang. Just now, James Toh referred to the logic about the sequence of the items. I think he's most accurate. Now we want to get 10 minutes to talk about why we want to adjourn the meeting. It is a very serious matter. For the many meetings that you have chaired, you were not composed, you were not fair, and so you have brought shame to this committee. When we are at this stage, there's no choice but adjourn. So we want to get adequate time to tell how bad you conducted the meetings. And then Lee Cheuk-yen would like to move a vote of no confidence. Last time I also said that under 37A we should move a motion to say that we have no confidence in you. But surprisingly, you didn't even want to handle the proposal. Now, as the chair, if someone from us would like to say that we have a vote of no confidence, and how come that you say that it is irrelevant to the item, and so you won't deal with it, and we don't even get a chance to discuss, and that's why we want to adjourn it. We want to be given time to have a debate. Mr. Chairman, think about it. For how many times have we had a meeting, and for how much time? And how much time was spent on dealing with your conflict of interest. There's no way that we can deal with it. So by adjourning it, it means that we'll be given adequate time to examine your case. You are the non-executive director of Smart Tone under SHK. And for Sun Hung Kai, it owns 1.41 million square feet of land in NENT. Now for this project, those owning 40,000 square feet of land will have a land exchange opportunity. So there is this conflict of interest. We are on the adjournment, right? The Sun Hung Kai Properties is a major landowner. It can have land exchange. It can have private housing built. That's why we can no longer carry on with the discussion. You have just got so much conflict of interest. It's not just you. There are many others. And in a moment, we have to discuss that again. And then for officials who are present, maybe they have some conflict of interest as well, not to mention the Secretary for Development. His family still owns a piece of land within the study area of the NENT. So many things are tangled. And next, Priscilla Leung. For Lee Cheuk-yen, he hasn't got the moral courage to withdraw the verbal insult and offense towards me. Well, we are on 37A. Just pause for the time being. 41.5. I hope Priscilla Leung will speak with care. The chair has already made a ruling for her to dwell on Lee Cheuk-yen's choice of diction, using the term exchanging looks, having an exchange of looks between the chair and herself is wrong. Well, in fact, it's a poem from from the Song Dynasty by a poet called Sun Hei-zhen. Gary Fan, stop your speech. Gary Fan, stop your speech. Priscilla Leung, please continue. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I've been raising my hand many times, but you didn't see my hand. You should, from time to time, look in my direction. I saw Kenneth Leung's hand, he saw mine, but you didn't see both of us. So it's an objective fact. 37A, as to why I suggested 1 minute. Somebody talked about making a fool of ourselves. Who was it? Dr. Kwok. He always made us this kind of mistake.
I have evidence. Please do not interrupt. I have evidence, and I actually had a press conference held to talk about his unreasonable attacks against me. Please go to that press conference to get the information. First of all, 37A. 37A and 39, I'd like to talk about them together. First of all, 1 minute or 10 minutes. Chairman, you have been very kind. You reminded KK Fong twice that he was wrong twice. He said he would like to adjourn the item. You gave him the chance to adjourn the meeting, and now you are still again very kind. Last time it was already repeated. He said that he was trying to adjourn a certain item, but then you reminded him that he could go for adjournment of the meeting. And the same today. You are doing the same today. I think you should stop when the play is good. We have had many discussions on this item already. Today we should not spend more time on their repeated request. There are many kinds of Hong Kong people. Many citizens have told us that they hope that the NTNE funding would be endorsed soon. This is only for the advanced works. Even for the WKCD, $21.6 billion that has been endorsed, and we still cannot see anything on the land. This is only for advanced works, and we can still have many more specific discussions later. So what I mean is, when we talk about a motion to adjourn, we definitely cannot allow 10 minutes each. 1 minute should be able to allow members to express their views. So I still would like to ask members to support me that in the motion to adjourn motion, we should only have 1 minute. Mr. Tam Yu Chung. It is my time to speak. Please remain silent. I think on this issue of NTNE, this is our 7th meeting already. We have had almost 24 hours on this. And the motion to adjourn has been raised every time at the Finance Committee meeting. Originally, if it was raised for the first time, we could have given it more time, but this is repeated at every meeting, so we think 1 minute is enough. Plus, we can see that they are just repeating themselves. They are always going back to the old points, talking about conflict of interest of the chairman. And Chairman, you have explained many things, but some people are still repeating to mention them for the sake of delay. So we think 1 minute should be enough. If members do not drag on, because if you still want to delay the matter, public opinion is telling you that you are not right. If the meeting continues like this, it is really very bad indeed. Mr. Ip Kok Him, well, I think I like to speak my mind really when we have come to this point at the meeting. I can see that the pro-democrats have always resorted to motion to adjourn in order to drag on the meeting. They are abusing the procedures of this meeting. They are trying to paralyze the meeting. I think this is so regrettable. I think they should be regretted or reprimanded. Now, some people say that the pro-establishment camp is rude. Is that so? I think the public can see it. If you look at today's meeting and also previous meetings, our members just do not pay any attention to you, Chairman, when you were trying to explain matters to us. They did not give you the chance to do so. They always raised points of order so that you could not even speak, and so that the procedure of this meeting cannot be carried on. I hope you will be stricter with such matters. Of course, you have to deal with points of orders immediately, but then if it is an abuse of the points of order, you should be more strict. And now it is said that the motion to adjourn should proceed, and it should be for 3 minutes. But then Mr. Lee Chuk-yen is saying that everybody should be given 10 minutes. In fact, I thought 3 minutes was okay. But then if someone raised such an outrageous proposal, and since we have had so many motions to adjourn already, I could only say that I will only support 1 minute. Now you already have 3 minutes to express yourselves. I don't want to waste more taxpayers' money and the precious time of this meeting. You are clear about this. Hong Kong people are watching us. They are watching the proceedings of this meeting. We should be reasonable. We should not just go for verbal slur and also linguistic violence in order to express ourselves. Thank you. Ms. Claudia Mo. Thank you, Chairman. I find this so strange that Ms. Priscilla Leung would propose 1 minute. She actually spoke for 3 minutes. She should have been more succinct. How come she has so much to say? 1 minute would mean you can only sneeze once and yawn once. This is an important item. Why only 1 minute? Why don't you say just 30 seconds? If that's the case, why don't you ask the chairman to put this to a vote immediately so that you can pass it? This is unreasonable. This is unfair. Chairman, I know you are chairing the meeting. I know you had a difficult job. You are in the middle. And this is getting out of control. Just now you made a ruling on Mr. Leung Yiu-chung. It was really very bad indeed. And in the end, you had to withdraw your own ruling. I think you are under too much pressure. Please think about what you should do. Like the exchange of love glances, etc. You seem to be saying, you did not exactly say it, but you seem to be saying that it is offensive. I think exchanging looks is all right. It is not the same as another Chinese idiom. Please come back to the subject. Yes, Chairman. We don't need a judge or a council to uphold justice. Justice is in our heart. And the public know justice when they see it. You have to be just. The entire funding request, look at the numbers. Originally, it said that it was for the building of public housing. I said, well, it's a good thing then. And then we found that it was a lie. Please come back to the subject. No, let us look at all the figures. They can allow us to write an entire thesis on it. If just on this one alone, I can sit here and write that thesis for an hour. 10 minutes is too little. 15 minutes would be better. 1 minute is unimaginable. You are relegating this council to a joke if you only allow 1 minute. So, Chairman, you have to look closely at this matter. This has an effect on you. It has also an effect on the council. Chairman, it was about 2:30 when you issued the so-called written explanation, and you said, as the chairman of the Finance Committee, I have the responsibility to protect the interests of the Finance Committee. I'm scared, Chairman. We have no interest here at the Finance Committee. The Finance Committee is here to discuss matters on behalf of the public. Next, Mr. Charles Mok. Dr. K.K. Kwok. Ms. Priscilla Leung said this. She said, you can say whatever you want. Is that a point of order? No, I think this is offensive. Chairman, you have to make a ruling on this, and I'm asking her to withdraw it. And I am asking her what exactly she is saying about me. What did I say that she could say I was saying whatever I like? We have already dealt with that, Dr. K.K. Kwok. When you were not here, when you were outside the room, maybe you should not come back and mention something that happened when you were not in the room. We would not deal with that. Next member to speak, Mr. Charles Mock. Mr. Charles Mock. I have already dealt with it. I don't want to spend more time on it. We need no more discussion. I have already dealt with it. If you were out of the room, I think you need not follow up on what you were trying to follow up. I am of the view that we don't need to process this any further. Please stop speaking. Stop speaking. K.K. Kwok. Please stop speaking. Sit down. Please be seated. Please stop speaking, or else I will exercise 45-2. Stop speaking first. You can raise your hand. Priscilla Leung. Stop speaking. Ann Chang. Stop speaking. Please do not speak anymore from your seats. I will now ask Dr. Helena Wong to speak. Sorry, Chairman, you cannot even call me by my name. You are really not in the proper state of mind. Just now, Miss Priscilla Leung did not mention you, so you did not feel offended, but she mentioned K.K. Kwok. I heard it very clearly, and I turned my head to look at his seat, and he was not in the room. But now he is now in the room. He felt that he was offended, so you have to make a ruling. You should ask Miss Priscilla Leung to apologize and withdraw her remark. That is what she asked. I will say again. Miss Priscilla Leung, stop speaking. Ann Chang, stop speaking. Priscilla Leung. Next member to speak, Mr. Charles Mock. All others, please do not speak. We have already dealt with it, Dr. K.K. Kwok. I don't think we should dwell on it. Please do not dwell on it. When you were not in the room, I hope you will not dwell on something that was said when you were not in the room. Stop talking, Miss Helena Wong. Miss Helena Wong, can you stop speaking? Chairman, I asked you to go inside and review the tapes, whether it is an insult. There are 9 more members. Order, please. There are 9 more members who are in the queue. But this is almost the end. Only 2 more minutes to the end of the first session. I will now adjourn the meeting.